Good evening. My name is Shelby McNutt, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies this evening for another exciting Crystal Apple Awards ceremony presented by the Garden City Area Chamber of Commerce. I do feel honored that I was a Crystal Apple finalist in 1995, the first year of its existence, and a Crystal Apple Award winner in 1996. In the past 28 years, this program has grown through the support of community sponsors, many of whom who have been with us from the very start of the program. As we give them recognition throughout this evening, we ask that you also let them know how grateful you are for their continued support. Every day we place a huge responsibility on our educators to provide our community with the next generation of future leaders and a strong workforce. Our teachers instill the confidence in their students that they can attain anything they desire in their lives. Imagine our next generation inspired by you, daring them to dream, and that truly anything is possible and everything is achievable. To our 6 finalists, we invite you to relax as this is your night, a night of celebration. We honor you and thank you for what you do for our students and for our community. I would like to welcome Pastor Mike Collins from Fellowship Baptist Church, who will give our invocation this evening.
Let's pray. God, we thank you for tonight. Thank you for the life and the health we all have to even be here. Lord, we know that what we are celebrating tonight is important to you because you instructed us to raise up children who would be wise and productive members of society. We know that you love children because your son Jesus allowed children to come to him in a society that despised children, and he taught us to value children as well. And so tonight, God, we thank you for these 6 teachers who exemplify people who value the next generation, who are willing to go above and beyond to raise up a new generation of leaders and people in the workplace and all sorts of other things that you will use the next generation to do. Thank you for their exceptional care for the kids that parents across our county have entrusted to them. We thank you for the support system, for the families, and even the administration and staff that you've placed around them to allow not just these teachers, but the many hundreds of others in our county to invest in the next generation. Thank you that we live in a county where there are so many good teachers that we have to have a committee to filter through hundreds of different nominations to select the ones that will be honored tonight. And we thank you for the food that is prepared. Thank you for all that went on behind the scenes to make this event possible. And we pray that it would honor you because you love children so much. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Once again, the Clarion Inn staff has prepared a wonderful dinner for us to enjoy tonight. Let's take this time to enjoy this evening's meal, and we will resume the remainder of our program following our meal. That was a fine meal we just had, wasn't it? How about a round of applause for our Clarion staff? You've done a great job for us this evening. In schools all across Garden City today, we had an incredible meal at lunch. Today was our Thanksgiving meal served by our cafeteria staff. And I can say this, the cafeteria staff at Garden City High School, they're incredible. One of my favorite restaurants to dine at. I've been there for 37 years dining with them. Well, we wouldn't have the opportunity to honor our teachers as we do without the generous support of our Crystal Apple sponsors. These are the businesses and community members that help us make this event a success each year. If you're a representative of the following sponsors, please stand to be recognized. And if we could, let's hold our applause until the very end, till all are announced. Our presenting sponsor, Bohr's Law. Our technology sponsor, Cox Communications. Our platinum sponsor, TA Travel Center of Garden City. Berry Companies. Our gold sponsors, Black Hills Energy, Dairy Farmers of America, Commerce Bank, Fry Eye Associates, Iron Insurance Partners, Hutton, and Scooters Coffee. Our silver sponsors, Equity Bank. Our crystal sponsors, American Implement, Garden City Community College, Garden City Public Schools Foundation, Lewis Hooper and Dick, Southwest Kansas Office Leasing, the Chamber's 2023 Chairman's Circle members, Commerce Bank, the Dairy Farmers of America, Golden Plains Credit Union, Finney County, KCB Bank, Reeve Cattle Company, Scooters Coffee, Walmart Supercenter, and TA Travel Center of Garden City. Please join me in a round of applause for each of our Crystal Apple sponsors this evening. Thank you. We do have a few special introductions this evening. Also joining us tonight are several distinguished guests and board members from our local school districts. Please stand and be recognized. Kansas Commissioner of Education, Dr. Randy Watson. Kansas House Representative, Dr. Bill Clifford. Representing U.S. Senator Jerry Moran's office, Hunter Carson. Representing U.S. Congressman Tracy Mann's office, Reed Petty. Representing the City of Garden City, Mayor Deb Euler. Representing Garden City Community College, Beth Tedrow, Board of Education member. Dr. Ryan Ruda, President. From Garden City USD 457, Board of Education members Andy Farmer, Jackie Jiggett, Randy Ralston, Jennifer Stanley, Superintendent Dr. Mike Dominguez. From USD 363 Holcomb Board of Education, Dr. Ryan Ruda, board member. Representing Garden City High School, my evaluating administrator, Dr. Virginia Duncan, and my other principal that helps take care of me, Mr. Ryan May. How about a round of applause for our distinguished guests? As I previously mentioned, this year's presenting sponsor is Boers Law. I would now like to invite Laura Blake Boers to the podium to provide her insight on the Crystal Apple Awards and the dedication of our local teachers.
I got special instructions about how to move the mic this year. Welcome again to the 28th Annual Crystal Apple Award Dinner. It is an honor to continue to help recognize the best and brightest teachers in Finney County. Again, I'd like to thank again Dr. Watson for coming. He has come every year for several years. You know it takes at least 12 hours from Topeka to get here, you know, so thank you so much. Reading the applications this year, several of our finalists have particular knowledge of what the next group of individuals who I like to recognize endure. The endless grading, late night games and practices, creating new bulletin boards, and sometimes putting the needs of other children before their own. The parents, spouses, children, and other members of our finalist crucial support systems have helped to provide a solid foundation, the ongoing support, and possibly sometimes the sounding board that our finalists need as they work through all that they do for our students. If you are a member of one of our finalist support systems, if you could please stand to be recognized for your contribution to the education of Finney County kids. The Crystal Apple Dinner has served as the capstone of American Education Week since its inception, a day when the Finney County business community can show their support to Finney County educators. The Chamber believes in supporting our educators so much that there is a specific education section in our legislative agenda each year. It calls upon our elected officials and representatives to continue to fully fund our public schools, to provide high-quality educational opportunities regardless of learning ability or geographic location, and help to ensure that our students complete their secondary education, college, and career ready. To illustrate this, I hope you will allow me some grace this evening as I take a stroll down memory lane. As Sophia from the Golden Girls would say, picture it, Garden City, 2011. Mark Ron, one of the assistant principals at Garden City High School, went to the school board with an idea. As many of us in this room know, most students learn in different ways. Not every student is cut out for the traditional trajectory of public education. He came with a proposal for the Garden City Alternative Education Center to be housed in J.D. Adams Hall once the completion and building of the new high school. It would allow students who did not thrive at Garden City High School a place to learn at their own pace, or virtually, or to help those who need extra assistance through the therapeutic education program. In 2012, as we saw the opening of Garfield Early Childhood Center, Horace Good Middle School, and the new Garden City High School, we also saw the opening of the alternative school. 2013 saw its first little gathering of graduates in the courtyard of J.D. Adams Hall. No caps and gowns, barely a diploma, but the idea continued. 2014, we saw the colors red and silver adopted and the phoenix chosen as their official mascot, the bird that rises from the ashes. How appropriate for them. They now receive official diplomas while wearing caps and gowns. Then in 2021, the approval of a name change, GC Achieve. This year, we have 3 of our finalists hailing from GC Achieve, and rumor has it, I did see it on social media, so I know it's true. Their principal is a finalist for Kansas Principal of the Year.
Yeah.
It is not only phoenixes that we recognize today, but a hawk and a couple of buffalo. Pablo Picasso once said that the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. The teachers have certainly embodied that statement. From working with students to learn to look at short-term and long-term goals while earning tokens, for creating a forum for argumentative dialogue between individuals as if they were in an Athenian marketplace after the completion of a unit or chapter, for taking the time to teach the difference between helium, hydrogen, and the other elements to allow students to believe in themselves and attain new heights in college, to not only teaching the difference between a noun and a verb, but the empathy and compassion are keys to success, providing voice and choice to students, and creating the environment to allow students with exceptional needs a place where they could de-escalate their emotions. Our teachers know, as Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. This was going to be the time when I was going to insert an inside joke for one of our finalists, playing the sound that filled Koch Arena last year during the Buffalo's successful run at the state robotics competition, the melodious notes of a rubber chicken. However, my favorite robotics team member informed me that would be cringe, and so last year, because now the focus is on Thundersticks and Mr. Pickle. So you all have been saved. Teachers, as you look around this evening, please know that the Finney County business community has your back. You are not alone in your classrooms. You have the support and dedication of all of the Chamber's members. Call upon us as you need us. We look forward to serving you as you serve our students. I'm very excited to see who will receive the awards tonight, but as we all know, the winners this evening are the students of Finney County. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Let me get this back up here. Sorry. There we go. This is the 28th year of the Chamber's Crystal Apple Awards. Over the years, we have recognized many outstanding educators from Finney County. If you are a previous Crystal Apple Award winner, please stand to be recognized. An old friend back there. Hi, Ann. A complete list of our past winners can be found in your program. It is now my honor to introduce to you our 6 finalists for tonight's Crystal Apple Awards. Please hold your applause until all are announced. Teachers, please stand as you're introduced. Deanna Clark from Garden City Achieve. Scott Glass from Garden City High School. Glenda Gibson from GC Achieve. Amber Potts from Horace Good Middle School. Mark Sheracruz from Garden City High School. Caitlin Sotelo from GC Achieve. These people have went through a lot to get here tonight. It's now my, I'm going to say honor, to tell you what they went through. It all started off with the nomination process that could be by a student, a parent, a fellow teacher, community member, a parent, just anybody who would like to nominate that teacher. We had this year 165 total nominations. Isn't that incredible? That's incredible. After they did the paperwork, all of the paperwork was turned in and it went to a committee to do a blind read, to read through all the applications that the teachers had submitted, all 165 of them. From there, the field narrowed down to our 12, and then they went through some interviews where they met with another group of committee members who interviewed them. I remember when I went through, it was more of an interrogation. Some of those people are in here, I'm sorry. They went through an interview, and from the interview process, we come down to the final 6 that we have this evening. Now, these 6 had a surprise visit by several people that stopped by their classroom to select our final 6 from our semifinals. So there's a lot that really takes for this to happen, for these people to be here. And I'd like to, let's give them a round of applause for surviving. As you can tell, this is a pretty meticulous process to get to where we are tonight, and their dedication from our community members who served on those 3 committees. As I introduce the committees, would you please stand to be recognized? Cole Billinger from Valley State Bank, Kathy Deal from Equity Bank, Ann Knoll, retired Crystal Apple teacher, Lisa Knoll from the Kansas Food Bank, Deb Euler from Finney County United Way, Reed Petty from the Office of U.S. Congressman Tracy Mann, Debbie Reynolds from CASA, Donna Tanner from Commerce Bank, and Beth Tedrow, a retired educator from Garden City Community College. How about a round of applause for this? We have another committee member we would like to recognize this evening. To do so, I would now like to invite Micah Bunch, our president of the Garden City Chamber of Commerce, to talk about this special recognition. Micah?
Well, Shelby, there might be two people that we need to recognize tonight. So as Shelby stated, the Crystal Apple process is one that spans many months and involves numerous volunteers who help us maintain the integrity and success of the program. There are two individuals, however, that were not mentioned just a minute ago that we would like to give special recognition to this evening. I can't look at him. These individuals have each served close to 20 years with this committee, 20 years each. The program is only 28 years old. The first person that we would like to recognize is Mr. Shelby McNutt, who won his first Crystal Apple Award in 1995, which, as it turns out, I was one of his students that year, so this has come full circle tonight. It wasn't soon after Shelby received his Crystal Apple that the Chamber, like we do, whenever somebody does such a great job, we put him to work. And he began emceeing this event each year, give or take a couple of years here and there, but each November we know we can call Shelby up, and he is always eager and so excited to host this program. So Shelby, if you'll please come forward. We have a special gift for you tonight that I've been hiding. Shelby, on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, we would like to present to you, in honor of your service to the Crystal Apple program, our thanks. Thank you so much. Okay. Now, the real award that Shelby thought was going to be presented tonight, or at this time, is for another individual that has served this program for over 20 years. This individual wears many hats within the community: city commissioner, current chamber board chairperson, airport plane refueler on the weekends. I could go on and on here. And if you haven't figured it out by now, of course, I'm talking about Mr. Roy Cessna. I think, though, out of all those titles, Roy's favorite role is serving as chairperson for the Crystal Apple Committee. Like I said, this is his 20th year in that role, and in that time, in 20 years, we have gone from this awards process, 50 nominations, up to what Shelby said, about 170 this year. This room, when Roy first took over, had about 50 people in it, to tonight, a sold-out crowd. Roy's dedication and commitment to USD 457, our teachers, our community, is truly something to celebrate. Roy, if you'll please come forward. Roy, the Chamber would like to present you with this plaque in honor of your 20 years of service to the Chamber and the Crystal Apple program. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Shelby, time to get back to work.
Yeah, now I'm supposed to come back up here and do this. Oh, hey, Roy, does this mean I get to do my acceptance speech now?
There you go.
Oh, boy. Sit back, relax. When we went through our early year of Crystal Apple, you know, it was like, come up here on the stage, here you go. And we went back over and sat down. And I know as Ann back there can attest, that first year we had our Crystal Apple ceremony out at Southwind in that one little bitty room. And they set up like 7 or 8 tables. Well, they needed like 2. I mean, it was very small. Not many people came. My high school principal didn't even show up. You know, we just didn't know what we were starting at that time. And it's wonderful to see how far this thing has evolved. And thank you to the Chamber. Well, it's time for us to learn just a little bit more about this year's Crystal Apple finalists. To do so, the Chamber enlisted the help of Collins Media and Design to produce a series of videos to highlight each finalist and their students from inside their classroom.
Well, initially, I did not want to be a teacher. Both of my parents were teachers. My mom actually just retired last week after 40 years in education. My dad retired last year after 42 years in education. So I saw how much work it was and how dedicated you have to be and how passionate you have to be. And I was like, there's got to be an easier job out there that makes more money. and that, wouldn't be so stressful. But in the end, I started taking English classes for fun when I was in college and realized normal people don't do that. It'd be like taking a math class for fun. It was just something I liked to do. So I decided to switch majors partway through, and that's how I ended up becoming a teacher, because of my parents' legacy and my love for literature. And I stayed because I love the kids. This is my 19th year of teaching. I've been in 5 districts. I ended up in Garden City because I met my husband and we got married. I started out at Horace Good. I was there for 6 years, and then I saw this opening here at Garden City Achieve. And I had worked for Mr. Sullivan before when I was at Horace Good for 5 years, and he's just an outstanding administrator, and I decided this was an opportunity I couldn't pass up. Well, the main difference between us and Garden City High School is that we're on an accelerated program. So 9 weeks here is equal to a semester at the regular high school. So I really have to focus and move as quickly as I can, but still hit all the standards. The kids here are here because they want to graduate early, so we have to get everything done at a faster pace. But we don't want to miss out on content and stuff, so we still do all the standards that we are supposed to hit. We just have to go a little more quickly than what they do at the high school. Keeping it relevant keeps them engaged. I think you have to have them buy into what we're doing to get them to learn, and at such a rapid pace, there just isn't time to waste. So I try to bring in artistic things or technology. The kids who want to write an essay can write an essay. The kids who want to draw a comic strip that covers the plot and the characters can do that. The kids who want to create a PowerPoint or Google slideshow over plot development and characters can do that. It's just, I think student choice is the way to keep them engaged. Not just, you need to be relevant and connect it to the outside world, but you also have to make sure they have some say in what they're learning. I had a student contact me 2 years ago who I had at Otis Bison. I had her as a sophomore in high school. She had some issues with being bullied, and one day during class, a student bullied her, and I put a stop to it. Like, I ended it. That was it. It wasn't going to happen again, because I didn't know about it before that, but I stopped it, and I was going to make sure it didn't happen again. And this young lady contacted me 2 years ago to see if she could do a tribute speech about me, so she interviewed me, and she sent me the speech when she was done, and I cried this time because it was just so touching. And the speech she gave was 14 years after I had her in class. I think the value of the Crystal Apple Awards is that it's showing recognition to people that don't always get recognition. We're in the trenches, so I think the Crystal Apple really shines a light and shows that the teachers of Finney County are working hard. We want the best for our kids, whether we're in Holcomb or in Garden City or wherever we are. We want our kids to be successful. And I think the Crystal Apple Awards just highlights that and shows the community how hard we're working and how much we care about our kids.
I chose to become a teacher because they were the coolest people in my world. I come out of a home entrenched in poverty and trauma, and I had some high school teachers that said, no, you get to pick whatever you want to do. It's in your hands. You, as you grow up and become an adult, you have the power to decide what you want to be. I absolutely see myself in so many of my students, and I guess that's why once I knew what this program was, I became passionate about it and on board to be here. The Therapeutic Education Program is an alternative setting. Students are sent here because of mental illness or behavior disorders. The idea is that they will come here and learn skills. We don't cure mental illness. We don't cure behavior disorders. We help kids learn how to manage them. We have a peace room that we have set up to be a very calming environment, where if a kid is struggling, rather than blow it all up and ruin everyone's day or get themselves in trouble, they can just go and take a break. And when they have managed to show us that they can maintain a appropriate level on those goals, then we start pushing them back into their home schools. We usually do that slow with some kind of transition period, half a day here, half a day there. But the whole goal is just to get them here, get the skills they need, and then get them back out into the regular school setting. I'm incredibly persistent. Some people who use the word stubborn, I prefer persistent. My principal frequently tells me that he knows that there isn't a kid here that can out-stubborn me. I got a couple right now that we're fighting the good fight because this is how it's going to be, and kids need that. Whether they admit it or not, especially if they haven't had a lot of that in their life, everyone needs to know how to accept no for an answer. That's a life skill, and I don't mind teaching it. I had a young man who, through no fault of his own, had been given custody to his to a relative, and was not with mom, or he was not with mom or dad or anyone other than that relative. So he had been in truancy since 5th grade. He came to me as a sophomore with 0 credits, not 1 credit towards graduation. He fell in love with our program. He was staying after school. Any day I would stay, he would stay. We worked on tons of credit recovery. He came in sophomore year with 0 credits, and he graduated with his class, went into the Marines. This huge man in a uniform, camouflage, they let him in and comes down my hall and asks for me to come see him. And it's that young man. He was a skinny little kid that, and he's just this, he's stationed in Hawaii. He's a Marine. He's living his dream. But he really wanted to come by and just thank me. We truly get to see kids that have not been successful in other places or have just really melted down and lost what, their common sense sometimes, are making real bad choices. And we get to help them get it together and send them back to their home schools with the skills they need to be successful.
I've been teaching since 2008 for about 15 years. I started with a couple years back in Michigan and then traveled to Garden City in 2010. So I've been in the district, this is my 14th year. Right out of high school, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. There was a moment when I was in AP Calculus, talking with one of my friends, helping him with a problem, and he just had the subtle statement, I wouldn't have passed this class without you. And I turned around, looked at the front of the board, and said, oh no, I'm going to be a teacher. I don't shy away from letting the kids expand on what they want to try. We learn just as much from failure as we do from success. So it's not sit down and answer the questions correctly and memorize this and memorize that. It's approach every problem with a how could I approach this mindset. It's interactive. And it's a challenge. There's always something new to come through and learn. I'm still teaching here after 15 years because of the students, because of the staff, because of the people that are around. I get to talk to people every day. I'm not in a cubicle, the back room, at my own desk, making phone calls. I love seeing when students get it for the first time, when they put in the effort and reach that pinnacle point. There's one moment in robotics where we started back in 2013. We were the worst robot on the course. We had no idea what was going on. And 6 years later, we're winning the marketing presentation at the state level. And those smiles on those 2 kids, the moment that they were holding up their trophy for the first time, and we got to snap a photo and say, hold up the number 1. It was just a moment that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. The Crystal Apple Award to me, it's the same as running into a parent and saying, hey, my student talked about you, said good job. It's sort of a confirmation of the work that I've put in, except this is from the community as well. That's what it means to me.
So what led me to choose teaching as a career? I think the answer is that it chose me in some ways. As far back as I can remember as a kid, I was the kid, the oldest of 3, who played school. I made worksheets and things. I made my siblings play along with me, and so it started there. it still didn't hit me right then. I went into the private sector. I worked in an environmental toxicology lab, and again, my favorite part there was the teaching part. So when my husband got the opportunity to come out here after going through a post-baccalaureate teacher program, when they offered me the opportunity to have a classroom and get certified alongside, I mean, it was like an open door. I never looked back. First and foremost, I mean, science, we think, you know, or they think explosions and big experiments and flashy things, and it can be that. But I try to help them understand that they've been scientists their whole life. But it really is being a critical thinker and just, what does this mean? How does this fit? And so presenting them with real world problems or real world things that they can solve, just by being a critical thinker and taking the evidence. But the other thing I really love to do, and I'm fortunate that I can do, is take them on those virtual field trips. I don't remember how many field trips I took them on, but you know, they read an article about Black Sand Beach. Well, I took them to a Black Sand Beach in Hawaii, or you know, volcanic eruptions. Take them to a real volcanic eruption in Hawaii, and just bringing those places to them so that they can see firsthand that these are real places and they are being studied and there's value to what they're doing. I had one year, one of our spirit days was dress like your favorite teacher. And I had a student come to me and he's like, hey, I want to dress like you. You're my favorite teacher. And I'm like, this is great. Okay, like, what are we gonna do? Like, what are we wearing? And he goes, well, just, you know, I want to dress like you. What are you gonna wear tomorrow? Never been asked that question by a student, but I was like, you know, why don't we do this? I'm gonna wear a black skirt, I'm gonna wear a white shirt, and he goes, what about like pantyhose? And I go, I can. And I mean, he pulled it off, and it was great. We took pictures. His mom even emailed me, and she's like, hey, don't forget to get a picture, and it was fun. The impression I hope that I've left on them is that they are smart, capable, that they can do hard things, that they can be a critical thinker, they can succeed. I hope that they remember, or they look back and remember that I cared about them, and that they're so capable.
I struggled in math. My dad wanted me to become like an engineer, to take up like engineering. Unfortunately, I struggled during my freshman through like junior year, but I almost like failed my math classes. And so my senior year, that's the time I excelled in math. It's because of this like one teacher. I really liked the way she taught. The teacher inspired me to do like the calculus, so I got like an A in calculus. That's the first time my parents are even like wondering, you know, why I had like an A like in calculus, and that inspired me to teach. Physics can sometimes be hard, and so what I do to make like learning memorable for kids is I do like those like challenges, like build challenges wherein they build something. Next month we'll be doing like the egg drop challenge, wherein we will be going outside and we'll be dropping the eggs, and they have to build like a contraption. So this we will be using those 3D pens. So we are now integrating like technology. Before we used like popsicle sticks, but now we will be using those 3D pens, and then they will be building their contraptions out of like those 3D pens and those PLA filaments. I want to keep on teaching to inspire students. And also, whenever like in the classroom, whenever those students have their own aha moments, and so when you see their eyes like sparkling, like, hey, finally get this, you know, and yeah, those aha moments, those are like the memorable encounters like I have with my kids. That's why I keep on like teaching. I've been here since 2008, so I'm one of the foreign teachers. I was hired by the former principal of the high school to teach here. So I came in under like an H-1B visa, it's like a work visa. And then in 2022, I got my US citizenship. So I became a US citizen last year. I'm the first Filipino to reach the finalists, like the teacher finalists. And so I felt being seen by the community, being appreciated, because Crystal Apple it's a celebration of us teachers, celebrating the teaching profession and, recognizing the roles we play in the lives of our students. So I felt honored, especially someone who is like an immigrant here in the United States. So it's a huge honor for me being a finalist.
So I decided I wanted to be a teacher when I was 5, and I never changed my mind. I loved my kindergarten teacher, and she was one of my biggest role models throughout my life. I grew up in Colorado, so I went to year-round school, and so when my track was off, I would go, in 2nd grade, I started going in and volunteering in other teachers' rooms, and as a 2nd grader, I learned how to cut laminate and help with run spelling tests, small groups, and, do all those little things. Garden City happened to be at a job fair in Greeley, Colorado, and they shared that it's a lot alike, and we have a lot of the same demographics that we had over there, and I got up and packed everything and came to Garden City, and the rest is history. And I had a little girl with autism join my gen ed classroom, my 2nd year teaching, and I learned so much from her. And so that really got the wheels spinning on, going more the special education route. And so I started working on my schooling for that, and a classroom opened up in August, and so I started teaching self-contained, and I definitely was not the teacher then that I am now. Strive is structured teaching reinforced individually with visuals and empathy. It is a day school program, and so our students are kindergarten through 12th grade, and they mostly are students who are on the spectrum of autism and need extra support than what they could have in a regular setting. So we do a very routine schedule every day. We rotate through practicing snack and eating and hygiene. They practice academics as well as life skills and job skills, social skills. We work on communication a lot. So I would say my biggest goal in the program is just getting these kids to have as much independence as possible in their life and as much joy as possible. I had a student at the beginning of the year that if there was one thing that he didn't like on his plate, he would get up and run it to the trash can. And now, through our work with him this year at lunch and really sitting and focusing on that, because eating is so important, he sits down and he eats his tray and he's able to leave what he doesn't like, and he has tried every new food we have asked of him. And so that is something that he wasn't able to do at the beginning of the year, and it's super cool to see those things. This building has changed my life as a teacher, and so just being able to be a Phoenix and to be part of Garden City Achieve and work under Lucas Sullivan has literally been life-changing. You work with the best of the best when you work at Achieve, because you work with the people who truly have the dedication and the love for the students, and the people who are going to do whatever it takes and problem solve, to figure out these kids.
Well, now you've met them. Let's bring them up here on the stage. As I read your name, I would like, let's try that again. As I read your name, I would like to invite the principals representing their teachers to escort their teacher here to the front. Each principal will then introduce the teacher from their school, who is a 2023 Crystal Apple finalist. The alphabetical order of finalists are Deanna Clark from Garden City Achieve and Principal Mr. Lucas Sullivan.
Thanks, Deanna, for wearing heels since I'm already vertically challenged. Talk about a tough ticket, Roy. I think there were scalpers out in the parking lot for this ceremony. I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce for all their work with the Crystal Apple ceremony and our sponsors as well. I'd like to congratulate all the finalists. You guys are all deserving of this award and are all amazing educators. Deanna Clark is our representative from Achieve High School. She is in her 19th year in education and 8th in our district. She's been at Achieve High School the past 2 years as ELA, speech teacher, lit and film, Leader in Me, Lighthouse team member. Deanna is a product of 2 longtime teachers, both in education over 40 years. So I thought I'd reach out to her parents and talk with them a bit. So according to her mom, Deanna's motto has always been, tough times don't last, tough people do. This attitude really resonates with her students at Achieve. My conversation with Deanna's dad was much longer because he's a basketball, football coach, and we talked a lot of sports. But Deanna was a valedictorian of her class. Education, as we saw in the video, was not her first choice. According to your dad, an English teacher and college maybe had a huge impact and maybe was the reason that she became a teacher. I talked to Coach Spears, and he continued to use the same word, passion. When I think about Deanna as well, there are 2 words that come to mind, and that is passion and caring. One former co-worker of Deanna's, Jose Anaya, shared this memory. Deanna was wearing a school hoodie, and a student complimented her on this. Within the next couple of days, Deanna went out of her way to buy the hoodie for that student. She knew that student probably couldn't afford it, and she just did it out of the kindness of her heart. Deanna has also been instrumental in the Hawk Pantry at Horace Good. Deanna at Achieve, during her speech class, had all the students pick a charity, and then they had to propose why they should get money for their charity. And it was a really cool, our kids got into it. It was a really cool project. And she had told, whoever had the best proposal, they would get, she had raised money for them to get their proposal funded. And then at the end of the project, she surprised all the students by having raised enough money for them all to have their projects funded. Deanna has been an amazing at Achieve because she genuinely cares about her students and builds those solid relationships that our students need. One of her current students, Jocelyn Molina, has this to say about Mrs. Clark. I think she is wonderful and a great teacher. I like she is chill. She definitely pushes her kids to get to where they need to be. She has a great relationship with all her students, and she should win this golden apple thingy. Funny story is our instructional coach, Brittany Shields, was walking through the halls, and she had like a golden jacket on or something, and Jocelyn comes up and she goes, "Are you with the golden apple thingy? My teacher, Mrs. Clark, better win." So Jocelyn will be looking for the committee members after, I'm sure. And I think Miss Cardo got to meet Jocelyn today too. So with great pleasure and on behalf of Garden City Achieve, it's my honor to introduce Deanna Clark as a 2023 Crystal Apple finalist.
From Garden City High School, Mr. Scott Glass, and Principal, Dr. Virginia Duncan.
Well, good evening. It is my pleasure to introduce Scott Glass, Crystal Apple finalist from the Arts and Communications Academy of Garden City High School. Mr. Glass currently teaches chemistry, AP chemistry, robotics, applied engineering, and has even taken on computer programming this year at Garden City High School because I asked him to. We needed someone. Mr. Glass has been with USD 457 since 2010. He has served as a science department chair since 2011 and was one of the founders of Buffs Robotics in 2013 and now is the head sponsor. Mr. Glass has a wide variety of experience assisting in everything from roughing elementary robotics to teaching Algebra 2. And on a personal note, he even took the time to coach my own son to the state level science fair. When not in the classroom, Mr. Glass even finds time to play disc golf and pickleball and take his daughter to dance class. I asked a few students for some information about what they enjoyed the most about being in Mr. Glass's class, and I was frantically trying to keep up with what they were saying because they were really excited about this. They stated that Mr. Glass inspires a creative workspace. He encourages students to come up with their own solutions to problems. He gives students a problem to fix, and they need to come up with a way to fix it. Mr. Glass clearly explains complicated concepts in a way that is easy to understand. He's very helpful and sits down one-on-one and works with you. He helps everyone. He's good at creating an open classroom where students can discuss the topics they are learning and learn from each other. He keeps learning interesting no matter what. He even brought his guitar to teach about bonds. He sang a different song for each one. And at this point, they paused, and they looked at me and go, "And he lights things on fire." He has such a creative way of engaging students. Students work with other classes to collaborate on activities. Students can work at their own pace to make sure that they move deeper or faster or slower as needed. Mr. Glass is invested in student learning. He takes the time to provide individual feedback to all students that helps them grow. The excitement he demonstrates in the classroom is contagious. Mr. Glass, you have clearly made an impact on your students, the Arts and Communications Academy, and Garden City High School. On behalf of the staff and the students at Garden City High School, we congratulate Mr. Glass on this much-deserved honor. We are so proud that you are part of our community. Thank you.
From Garden City Achieve, Glenda Gibson, and presenting Glenda Gibson this evening will be Mr. Jay Edwards, a Crystal Apple recipient.
The moment I walked in here tonight, I got harassed. It's you over there, and I noticed everybody's over time. So just get tight here. Get tight here. It's a large crowd here, and I got a microphone. 45 years of teaching, what could go wrong, you know? Yeah, flirting with disaster here. A month ago, she was announced as a finalist, and I immediately went down to the principal's office and said, I want to do this. My mind goes back to 18 years ago when I first came to Garden City. I'm new to the area, and I was one of 19 new teachers at the high school, and they didn't give me a classroom for a few years, didn't give me books for a semester, and but they did give me 120 some students. And I was to teach them to speak, to read, write, and listen. And even with 27 years experience before I came here, I needed help. Mr. Ron said, you need to go into some classrooms and see what they're doing. And he told me, go into that room. Mrs. Gibson's room. Later that day, I went into your room. Don't know if you remember. We were teaching 90-minute blocks, and she was running through these 3 sessions of 27 minutes long. They moved from one activity to another without any loss of educational time. No one in that classroom was left out. Every student was called by name, and I said, I got to teach the Gibson way. Whenever there's a new technique, a new literacy program, or an educational philosophy, she's on top of it like a first-year teacher. And she pounces on it like a whale in the Puget Sound. Really, really inspirational. And I'm an American citizen too, so you're not the only one, sir. Yes, so I digressed. I was gonna tell a story about inspiration and give an example from Thursday. My neighbor, Dr. Dominguez, and his wife were out playing ping pong outside at like 6:30 or 7 o'clock. It was cold, windy, and they're out there, and that inspired me. I'm like, I look for that all the time, and I get this from Miss Gibson as well. She's just an amazing person, and I wanted to be the person to introduce her to you. As we would say in Canada, Madam Gibson, vous êtes la meilleure, and you deserve this recognition. This night is long overdue, and here she is. Thank you.
From Horsegood Middle School, Amber Potts and her principal, Mr. Brad Springston.
I'll promise not to embarrass you. So last year, if you remember, in one of my speeches for introducing a teacher, I did tell Roy that during American Education Week, we need to up the game of the snacks, and he did deliver some donuts to us, so I appreciate that. And then I also told Amber just a second ago that I need to, I'm scouting the podium here, looking for lights that I can see my speech. Can I use my phone? And I was told no, so I'm not going to be able to use it. I'm honored to be here again this year introducing you to Amber Potts and to take this moment to thank the Chamber of Commerce and the many sponsors that support our great and outstanding teachers of Finney County each year. As some of you in the room remember, last year Amber was up on stage as a finalist, and I was able to introduce her and tell how great of a baker she is and how she spoils our staff with the many treats throughout the year. And I did ask Amber last year if she would pull through on a request for me, and that was a birthday cake for my wife, and that was a buttercream frosted cake, and she pulled through, wanted me lots of brownie points, and I'm going to put that request in again one more time, if that's okay. In my capacity as a principal in USD 457 for the past 17 years, I've had the privilege of supervising and working with many great educators. But there are just a handful that shine brighter than others. Amber Potts is for sure one of the brightest stars that I've had the pleasure to work with. I'm not sure how she finds the time or the energy to be as good of an educator as she is, being a mother of two twins, kindergarten students, Allie and Adeline, her full of energy 2-year-old, Asher, and her husband, Andy, who is also a science teacher at Kenneth Henderson. She continues to show growth both inside and outside of the classroom in ways most of us only aspire to be. Amber is like that teacher who knows that she can get the best out of every student that walks into her classroom. The academic performance she gets from her students shows her peers what they're capable of. Earlier this semester, Amber shared with me her pre and post-test data from her first unit science class. Not a shocker to everyone, but her 7th grade science students struggled on that pre-test. Her post-test data showed that those students were at 75% mastery and every one of them proficient. This not only inspires her as a teacher, but it inspires her peers as it shows them that they can not just do this in science, but they can do it in math, English, and every other class. Another notable example of how Amber is committed to personal growth and sets new goals for herself is she took advantage of an Apple educator trainer that we brought into our school last spring. Amber decided to continue with this through professional development over the summer during her vacation time, and she earned all the badges to be considered an Apple educator. This effort by Amber over her vacation time has rewarded her with being selected to attend an Apple Learning Academy this February in Austin, Texas, all expenses paid by Apple. She is a visionary instructor who Horace Good is lucky to have as a coach, mentor, yearbook sponsor, teacher, and friend. Amber's efforts during our PLCs and professional development days bring ideas to the table that are valuable to our staff. One of her peers said, Amber's tech-savvy approach benefits not only the HGMS students, but the staff as well. Because of her efforts, she's even been recognized as an honorary SysOp. Amber is that catalyst for our staff in connecting them to a space where they can learn, connect, inspire, all while helping build a momentum of creating an innovative, creative teaching and learning environment at our school. Beyond her impressive qualifications, Amber Potts possesses the qualities that make her a remarkable individual: mother, spouse, and peer. She is known for her loyalty, kindness, and genuine concern for whoever is present in her life. This is reflective of when you walk into her classroom, which maybe you caught a glimpse of that on the video, where she has a corner in her classroom of cards filled with Thank an Educator, and the consistent comments that are shown in those cards. She is patient with us. You care for all of us. You make learning science fun. You have such a good heart, and you're always smiling. Amber's colleagues have similar responses. You made my transition to teaching middle school so easy. You're motivating and supporting. I truly appreciate the time and effort you put in. You bring so much positivity to HGMS. Your work ethic and positive attitude is infectious. Amber, you are the blueprint that shows that everyone you come across that learning is lifelong. Congratulations to you. You embody everything that the Crystal Apple was put out to be, and I am truly honored to introduce to you Amber Potts.
From Garden City High School, Mark Sheracruz and Principal Mr. Ryan Ming.
Mr. Springston, I was one of your teachers too. Until about 10 years ago, was I one of your shining stars? Never heard that. Roy, this is going to be more than 2 minutes also, so sorry. Mr. Mark Cruz is from the outskirts of Manila in the Philippines and came to the United States to pursue a career in education in 2008, as you guys have heard. I'm not sure people fully understand, the sacrifice and leap of faith involved in making such a move. His home city is nearly 8,000 miles from Garden City. 14 time zones. I think it's 10:10 a.m. Friday morning, where Mark's from, in the Philippines. It takes several days of expensive travel on each end of a trip for Mr. Cruz to visit home. His family is very important to him, and he has sacrificed much more than any of us realize to serve our kids. He's been teaching in Garden City for a decade and a half and is passionate about helping students from all backgrounds succeed. Mr. Cruz uses a student-centered approach to teaching and utilizes project-based learning strategies to currently teach physics, body systems, and technical physics. In prior years, he's also taught environmental science, physical science, and science skills. His teaching style has been praised by students and parents alike, and his GCHS family is so happy that he's made it to this stage. He believes that all students can learn, and he works hard to create a classroom environment that is supportive and engaging. His former supervising principal and current superintendent at USD 409 in Atchison, Renee Nugent, formerly Renee Scott, said the following, quote, "Mr. Cruz's remarkable journey has profoundly impacted my perspective as a leader. Mark is a master of content, and because of his willingness to be coachable and accept feedback, he transformed his teaching practices to a project-driven mentor for students, especially some of the toughest ones. Mr. Cruz is an inspiring testament to the power of perseverance and self-improvement, and he inspires me to this day," end quote. Mr. Cruz's hands-on learning strategies have been particularly effective in helping students learn complex scientific concepts. Mark's students can periodically be seen around campus dropping eggs to investigate momentum, riding hoverboards to learn about friction, running at the football field to explore recovery time, etc. Last year, he partnered with a department colleague to visit the cadaver lab and nursing program at Garden City Community College. He just has a way of teaching learners, all types of learners. His former student and newly elected Garden City Commissioner, Tom Nguyen, once tweeted, quote, "Mr. Cruz grinds day and night for his physics students, leaves positive comments on all of our assignments, and he's applying to medical school. What a guy. Hand him a trophy." We'll see. Mr. Cruz has taught a wide variety of students, from those who are interested in trades careers to those who are interested in careers in healthcare. He believes that it is important to expose all students to the wonders of science, regardless of their future plans. Caleb Weesey, GCHS graduate and current Fort Hays State student, said the following, quote, "Mr. Cruz is able to teach some of the hardest concepts easily because of his style and creativity. I always liked participating in his class because he built a personal relationship with each student, which enabled him to get the most out of them. He truly wants his students to succeed in all things and is a great teacher and man," end quote. A lifelong learner, Mr. Cruz spends his summer months honing his teaching skills and expanding his knowledge base. In recent years, he became a certified Apple teacher and Apple learning coach. This past summer, he participated in a program at the Center for Culinary Arts in Manila, Philippines, further demonstrating his commitment to personal and professional growth. He also completed professional development in California before returning to Garden City for the fall semester this year. Mark has a cooking channel on YouTube with more than 6,000 subscribers. No joke. This dedication to learning sets a powerful example for his students, inspiring them to pursue their own passions and expand their horizons. Mrs. Hensley, Mr. Cruz's neighbor teacher, seated over there. She's also a foreigner. She's from Michigan. She said, quote, "The commitment and passion Mark has for his students is monumental. He is always putting students first and builds amazing relationships with our students. I am extremely proud to call Mark a friend, and I am ecstatic that the entire district is recognizing his brilliance and the dedication that I witness every day," end quote. Mr. Cruz is a valuable asset to the Garden City School District. He is a dedicated teacher who is passionate about helping students learn and grow. He is also a role model for his students and colleagues, demonstrating the importance of hard work, perseverance, and lifelong learning. Congratulations, Mr. Cruz.
And from Garden City Achieve, Caitlin Sotelo and Principal Lucas Sullivan.
Edwards is at it again with the TikTok. What, we got 450,000 people watching right now or something like that. The good thing, probably, I have that effect. The good thing about doing more than one speech, all the people I forgot to thank the first time around, I can do it during the second time. Edwards didn't take near as much time up as I thought he was going to. So with that said, I'd like to thank the district leadership team and the USD 457 Board of Education members that are here for their support of this awesome ceremony and our educators within our district. Caitlin Sotelo achieves third finalist tonight and represents the STRIVE program. She's been in education 11 years, and all of those years in Garden City School District, with the last 9 years in special education. Caitlin came to Achieve 2 years ago and took over our Therapeutic Littles program. She took a chance on our program in school, and I really appreciate her for doing that. However, Caitlin's real passion is working with students with autism and figuring out the puzzle pieces to unlock their learning. So last year when our day school position opened, she was very excited. Caitlin quickly changed the entire structure of the room and spent most of the summer getting it ready for her kids. And when I say most of her summer, I mean most of the summer, day and night, she was at the building. I had to tell her to go home on numerous occasions. She wanted to change the name to the program to STRIVE, structured teaching reinforced individually with visuals and empathy. I've learned a lot about structured teach from Caitlin, and it's been a fun journey. I did reach out to some of Caitlin's colleagues and want to share what they have to say about Caitlin. Lee Stickle, director of the Tazen State ATBS program, said this of Caitlin, quote, "Caitlin Sotelo is a remarkable educator who consistently strives to learn more, to do better for her students and families she serves. Caitlin holds high expectations for those she works with and even higher expectations for herself." Danica Kitch, and you'll be surprised I had to cut some of her quote out here. Anybody that knows Danica wouldn't be surprised. Behavior class teacher at Georgia Matthews had this to say of Caitlin, quote, "Caitlin is dependable in multiple aspects. She's always put aside her needs to ensure that all students have access to education they rightfully deserve, even if it means turning over a classroom overnight." This final quote from a colleague, quote, "I truly wish I would have had a teacher like Caitlin, who inspired a passion for learning. Your dedication to teaching and unwavering commitment to your students is truly admirable," unquote. This is from behavior consultant and instructional facilitator at Leavenworth School District, Rebecca Finnegan, and they worked together this summer with the Tazen autism team in Derby, and what they did with these kids in a week was amazing. Me and Mrs. Galpin, the special ed director, got to witness the end product, and it was just amazing what they were able to do with kids that they've never been around or saw, and what they were able to do in a week. You talk about somebody that cares about her students. Caitlin is that person. She goes above and beyond and does amazing things with a group of kids that can have some very, 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 very challenging behaviors. It is my extreme pleasure to introduce Caitlin Sotelo as a Crystal Apple finalist representing STRIVE at GCHU.
Well, the time is finally here for us to announce the 2023 Crystal Apple recipients. We will have two separate award presentations this evening. The first presentation will be the announcement of the 3 Crystal Apple finalists, and the second presentation will recognize the 3 Crystal Apple teachers for 2023. I'd like to ask Representative Dr. Bill Clifford and Andy Farmeyer to step forward to present a $250 check and frame certificate to each of these 3 finalists. Our first finalist, Scott Glass. Our second finalist, Deanna Clark. Our third finalist, Glenda Gibson. These teachers represent the principles and dedication this award is intended to display. I'd now like to start our presentation for our three Crystal Apple winners. I'd like to ask our presenters to step to the front of the room to honor our 2023 Crystal Apple teachers with their awards. Laura Boers from Boers Law will present each with our Crystal Apple. Cleo Hawkins with Cox Communications will present each with an Apple iPad. Rich Harp from Commerce Bank will present each teacher with their $1,000 check. Quentin Johnson from TA of Garden City will present each teacher with a $150 gift card and a keepsake pen. These three teachers have gone through an exhaustive process to earn the distinction of being called a 2023 Crystal Apple Award winner. How about a round of applause for them? Our first Crystal Apple teacher, Mark Sheracruz. Our second Crystal Apple teacher, Amber Potts. And our third Crystal Apple recipient, Caitlin Sotelo. Each Crystal Apple teacher will now be given the opportunity to provide a brief acceptance speech. Our first speaker this evening, Mr. Mark Sheracruz.
I'm actually shaking. I didn't expect to be winning, but 15 years ago, I came to the United States as one of the foreign teachers hired by USD 457. And just last year, I became a United States citizen and took the oath of allegiance. Being a naturalized citizen of this great nation is one of the milestones in my life. Tonight, I have earned another accomplishment by becoming the second foreign-born teacher to win the Crystal Apple Award. I would like to thank the Garden City Area Chamber of Commerce and all sponsors for honoring the Crystal Apple finalists tonight. Thank you for this amazing and memorable experience. I very deeply appreciate the honor which you have conferred upon me and to my other two co-finalists. As we conclude this event, I can't help but to reflect on the journey that I went through from being a nominee to a finalist. It was not easy, but it was worth it. Being a finalist allowed me to critically reflect on my teaching practices and find innovative ways to reach all my students. First, I would like to thank my parents for their support. Unfortunately, they can't be here today because the travel time from Manila to Garden City takes about like 2 days. So it's a lot of like travel. But I was able to bring in the most important like people like my trade and health family, Mr. Meng, Ms. Manzor, Ms. Hensley, and Ms. Arguello. Thank you guys for being with me tonight. Thank you for your support. To our school superintendent, Dr. Mike Dominguez, and the USD 457 Board of Education, thank you for always putting the best interests of our students. To the person who always nominated me since 2019. So since 2019, I've been like filling out forms, but I'm not making it. So I'm not sure. Thank you so much to the people who've read my my application. So every year I turn it in, but I just just keep doing it, keep turning it in. And I got it this year. Thank you so much. To the person who have nominated me since 2019, thank you for believing in my capacity to teach. To my very good friend, Melissa Hensley, and the 2020 Crystal Apple finalists who have supported me through thick and thin, I couldn't thank you enough for the friendship, support, and encouragement for the past 15 years. Thank you for teaching me everything that I need to know about the U.S. way of living. I'm almost done, promise. Sir McNutt, this is my moment, so please. I waited since 2019, so this is now my moment. I would like also to thank my former principal and considered to be my mentor, Dr. Renee Nugent, for seeing me. Dr. Nugent inspired me to go above and beyond. She gave me challenging roles that helped me become a better teacher. Thank you, Dr. Nugent. I'd also like to thank Mr. Ryan Meng for all his support and encouragement over the past 8 years. Mr. Meng, I wanted to let you know that you are an amazing person. You always come to our rescue and advocate for us. I consider myself as a lucky guy for having 2 academy principals. To Mr. Steve Norby, our head principal, who will join us today, I want to thank you for always reassuring your support for all of us, making sure we have the resources we need that will support student learning. Finally, I offer this award to my Garden City High School students. They are the reason that I continue teaching and pursue my passion for teaching. There are times I wish to give up, but knowing that there's a student or 2 who is looking forward for my class motivates me to go to work every day. This year, I've only been gone 1 time, and it's for a training, but I've never been absent since August. So I always proud of my students, and I would love to grow old in the world that they will be creating. Thank you very much, and have a good evening.
A decade ago,
the idea of being here tonight seemed rather far-fetched, improbable. I was not, teaching is not my first career. But always a passion of mine. I always found myself in that role, teaching, but not my first career. I was working as a scientist, and the dream really just seemed kind of far-fetched, off in the distance. Yet here I am 10 years later, tonight earning this award as an educator. So I am completely humbled, so grateful and honored to be here tonight, having received the award. I want to say thank you to the person or the people who nominated me. That really is reward enough. As educators, we don't often get to see the impact that we have on our students' lives. And so being here tonight gives me some reassurance that I am making that impact or having that impact. Someone or some people took the time to fill out an application and nominate me. I also want to thank the Chamber of Commerce and all of the sponsors and ambassadors for making this night possible and their dedication to this evening and this event. And to my husband, Andy, who has always been supportive, always encouraging, always pushing me to take that next leap, and listening to my wild ideas. I came home one day at my first year teaching. I had a foster student that came to my classroom second semester, and I nearly convinced him that we needed to adopt her. She spent every afternoon in my classroom. Her foster mom didn't even know she was there. I had no idea until I had to walk her out one afternoon and explain to the mom what was going on. And then it was fine, but I had him almost convinced. Thank you, of course, to my family and friends. Their unwavering support and encouragement makes this moment possible. And then, of course, finally, thank you to all of my administrators. Again, their encouragement and support makes this moment possible. And then I did want to say a special thanks to Brad Springston. He took a chance on me 10 years ago. I came to the district as a transition to teach teacher. He never met me. I think we had a video group interview, and he took a chance on me. And so without that chance tonight wouldn't have been possible either. So appreciate everyone being here tonight. Thank you.
And Caitlin Sotelo.
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much to the Chamber, to our district admin. This has been such an honor to be involved in the process. To our videographer that came into our classroom, it is super cool to see your classroom from the bird's eye view and see what it looks like on the ground. People say that when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And for those who know me well, I guess that's a good thing, because my life would be overloaded with time spent working. Yet instead, I'm blessed to get to spend my life advocating for, supporting, and teaching students, families, and other educators. When I was 5, I decided I wanted to be just like my kindergarten teacher, Ms. K, and I never changed my mind. I spent my school years not only learning academics, but also observing what made the difference in the teachers who had the largest impact. I promised myself to always let that difference, love, lead me as a teacher. While this award is a remarkable honor, the true reward in teaching is watching students gain knowledge, accomplish new things, and build pride in themselves each and every day. Teaching special education takes a village, so I'd like to acknowledge those who have had the largest impact on me as a teacher. First, I thank my past and present admin and coworkers for always supporting my desire to be a lifelong learner. Attending professional development puts a momentary strain on buildings, but the results of it are impactful for years to come. On that note, I'd like to thank Tazen for all I've learned from them, especially my coach, Dixie Teeter, who definitely deserves some major overtime pay for all the time she has spent collaborating with and supporting me on evenings and weekends. To my principal, it's hard for me to put into words how much my life has changed since the day I chose to be a Phoenix. I never imagined my career leading me to GC Achieve or Strive, but I thank God every day it did. Thank you for always advocating for our kiddos, our staff, and our building. Thank you for letting me run with things, even when you and others can't quite see the method behind the madness yet. And on the reverse, thank you for working so hard to convince me to pump the brakes when I'm trying to do too much at once. Thank you for being so present in the classroom. Your unwavering support has truly impacted the lives of so many and turned our school into a true family. To my paras and other support staff, service providers, your love for these kiddos, your initiative to be lifelong learners, and your willingness to always advocate for those that can't advocate for themselves yet makes our classroom a family. We've laughed together, cried together, and through it all, we've made it to the next day a little further than the day before. So I not only thank you for believing in our kiddos, treating them with dignity and respect, loving them like your own, and constantly raising the bar to make their tomorrows better, I also thank you for loving and supporting and believing in me and helping to make me the teacher I am today. And last but certainly not least, thank you to my boys, Elon and Armin. I thank you for always being patient with mommy when she needs to go to school on the weekends, talk to a parent after school, or miss a field trip. I hope you see what you can accomplish when you have passion. With hard work and determination, you can do anything you set your mind to, and I hope you've learned that from watching mommy do her best to help the kiddos who need more than most. No matter what your dream is, you have the opportunity to change the world and leave it better than it was before you. Thank you.
To all of our 6 Crystal Apple finalists this evening, we would ask that each of our finalists remain for pictures. at the end of tonight's event. Tonight's event shines a spotlight on the very best educators in Finney County. These educators bring dedication, enthusiasm, and professionalism to our classrooms every day. We hope your evening has been a most memorable one. With just 1 week away from Christmas, excuse me, I'm ready for Christmas break, I guess. With just 1 week away from Thanksgiving, may we all have a lot of things that we'll be very thankful for. And if I could end this evening from one of the great philosophers of America, Mr. Red Skelton. Some of you know who it is. Good night and God bless.